information security do this all the time. People job hop for a reason. And then sometimes it leads to destructive behaviors. When you're depressed, sleep deprived, unhappy, you make bad decisions. You might call out your boss. You might do work that's subpar. You might do things that are destructive to your career or to your personal life. And those are big problems and big symptoms in burnout and in depression. When I look at information security job stress, there are some big factors. One of the reasons we have this community events and things like these sites as well is this is a major problem, and we know it's a major problem. When you look at the ISSA study done this year, 68% say that it impacts work-life balance. That's huge. That's the majority of people find that there's a work-life balance problem in their jobs. There's also a lack of training. They're doing so much work that they don't have time to train. Lack of staffing. I don't need to repeat that there's a shortage of cybersecurity talent. So what do? We put the staff that we have extra hard to get that work done. And there's increasing demands. Everything is being digitized. Everything is needing our security help. So we have to be the heroes. We have to be the ones to shoulder that entire responsibility. There's also, going back to 2010, the study that Jack Daniel did of RSA and B-Side Las Vegas with the symptoms of burnout and how prevalent they are in our community. I think on top of this, there's this additional pressure. There's this additional kind of depressive theme, and that is social media. No matter what side you're on, it is corrosive, and it is troublesome, and it is problematic. The amount of rhetoric that's going on in social media, in our own community even, it's becoming a big problem. We just have to look maybe back to Hope last month and the problems that they had there to see that this is a problem that's springing up everywhere. When I saw and did some work, I also saw that there's a study that showed people who are active on social media are 3 times as more likely to be depressed or anxious. That's huge. There's a reason that people drop out of social media. It's because it's depressing. I mean, when I read my Twitter stream, sometimes I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I can't deal with that today. It is too much. It is too negative. It is too toxic of a place for me. All right, so we're going to go to Jane's second visit. It's a year later. We're at crusty burnt out doc. I go to her bedside. I don't remember the encounter very well. Probably for a variety of reasons. I'm seeing dozens of patients a day. I go to this patient who's on the board, a big track board, and has a room number and a column that says suicidal. I assign myself to the patient. I walk into the room, and my resilience, my reserve, my compassion is gone. And I know that now I'm going to have this interaction with the patient who's a number. any way or shape or form. Their blood sugar will be too high, or maybe even dangerously too low. And it's something that they have to do every single time they eat, 3 or 4 times a day, every day of the week, every week of the year. It will never end. There's no cure for diabetes. There's nothing coming that's going to fix that problem. And that is depressing. It is depressing to know I'm sick, I'm going to be sick for the rest of my life, and there is nothing I can do about it. And I have this very fragile condition where if I figure out that maybe this piece of pizza has 5 less carbs in it than I thought, then I might have to risk going into low blood sugar shock. Or maybe it's got 20 more carbohydrates than I thought, and then my sugar's going to be high, and I'm going to have a headache, and I'm going to be thirsty, and I'm going to be miserable. Those are the things that go on, and that can make you depressed. There are actually a lot of books and materials written about diabetic burnout, of I have been doing this for so long, oh my god, I can't do it anymore. And that feeds in exactly to what we're talking about with an illness leading to depression, or an illness feeding into these depressive symptoms. There are other mood disorders, bipolar, substance-induced. Really, the point of this slide is to show that it's not always that you're depressed. Maybe you're depressed most of the time. And maybe between episodes of severe depression, you're really happy and we call that mania. These things are complex, they don't always fit a pattern. There are anxiety disorders. I'm not going to list them all off, but this is an increasingly diagnosed medical condition in America for a variety of reasons. We talk a lot about some of the symptoms of burnout, and they look a lot like the symptoms of depression. Are you genuinely sad? Do you find that there's just not a lot of joy? You don't get a lot of enjoyment out of doing things that most people find joy in? Do you feel hopeless? This is pretty easy, and it rings a bell in information security. Do you feel like, you know what, this problem is never going to go away. They're never going to be secure their data no matter how many times I recommend them. No matter how many pen tests we buy that have the same results, this company is just not going to change. It is hopeless. Why am I even here? Fatigue. It goes back to that sleep issue. Episode in my personal life where I lost about 30 pounds in a month and a half. I think that I lived on Diet Coke and peanut M&Ms, but I didn't want to eat. I had no desire to eat whatsoever. Lunch, dinner, breakfast, didn't care. Like it didn't. And as a diabetic, that's very dangerous. But the urge, that sadness, that hopelessness is so overpowering that it can overcome basic needs like the need to eat, the need to shower, the need to take care of yourself. And that is where we get into some dangerous territory, when depression really leads to some bad things. One of the things that you can do if you find that you have some of these symptoms, or some of these symptoms ring a bell, is you can take a self-test and kind of see where you are maybe on this scale. It's quick 9 questions, and it screens for depression. And you can have a test like this, and you can say, well, I don't know if I'm depressed, but let me check. Before you go to a doctor, you can do this. And then you can go to them and say, look, I'm having some of these symptoms, I took this test, and I scored this way, and that's why I'm here today, and I would like some help. I would like to get some resources to do this. So, we're not going to push medicines, and I'm a doctor. I don't get my check from Big Pharma until tomorrow, so I'm not going to speak too highly of them until tomorrow. Just kidding, I don't get paid by Big Pharma at all. We're talking about the meds, not for the reasons that we're saying you'd absolutely go on meds, or meds are the answer, far from that, but they are often a part of treatment. So we want to put this in the middle before we talk about the rest of the stuff that's important, just to hopefully demystify it a little bit, and to at least give you another take on this. How does meds work? We're about to talk about classes of medications. If I had a giant whiteboard behind me, you would see all these complicated biochemical pathways, arrows going from weird protein to weird protein. this giant needle that I have to stab into my thigh once a week to give myself testosterone. But without it, my moods are all over the place. But I need the stability in my endocrine system for my mood, for my brain, and my emotions to be stable. And that's just the medications I take for not my diabetes. Then there's all the ones I take for my diabetes. I take 2 different types of insulin, and I take a medicine called Farxiga for my insulin resistance. But let me tell you, every week, when I have to fill my pill box for the week, it's depressing. I feel old, I feel broken, and it is depressing as hell. It's tough, and I have to do that every week from now until forever. And it's tough. And some of the ways that I've constructed that and changed that thought in my mind, I've done a couple different things. One is the curl parameter tuning. The other one is I think of myself as like a really good European race car. You can't just put regular gas in a car like that. You have to put premium gas. You can't just put regular oil in that car. You need to put synthetic oil of a certain weight and a certain type. When you do that and you pull the rug out of the chemistry of your brain, it goes badly. I can understand people wanting to say, I don't need this anymore, but it's very important to work with your doctor on coming off of it the right way. You can come off of these medications, but you need to wean yourself off of them so your brain doesn't flip out. Because you can go into withdrawal symptoms and you can make your depression and all the other symptoms dramatically worse by just pulling the rug out and stop taking these medications altogether. So please be careful if you take these medications or in the future you take these medications, so you can keep that in mind. Now, there's lots of different mental health providers out there, and this can be very confusing, but they're all there to help you. There's counselors and clinicians and therapists, and they are generally great. They do a lot of talk therapy, and they can help you through a lot of these problems. There are psychologists with degrees and PhDs that can do more advanced things. EDMR is a very popular thing that psychologists do. There are social workers that do different things for different classes of people. Psychiatrists mostly specialize in medication. I see a psychologist and a psychiatrist because psychologists usually don't do medications. Nurse practitioners and family practice physicians also can dispense these types of medications under guidance and under different types of symptoms and different types of things. And probably the most important out of this list, arguably, I would say, is not the doctor, although that's very, very important. And it's not that they're not doctors, just different doctors. They're psychologists. Excuse me. They get a degree, they're trained in many different modalities, and for many different health conditions, mental health conditions. And they're a good resource in almost every case. You've had a lot of experience with this, Jay. Yeah. So, I've been in cognitive behavioral therapy for well over 20 years now. Something I do every week, and it's basically talk therapy where you figure out what your problems are, and you talk about the solutions to it. I'll try and give a quick example here because we're pressed on time. I have horrible rating anxiety. I am constantly thinking that my rating is shit. It is horrible, and it makes me look like a worthless employee. And it freaks me out every time I write a report. And I have to deal with this anxiety. And I go and we do cognitive behavioral therapy, and my therapist says, has anybody ever told you your rating's horrible? I say, no. And how many reports have you written? Probably hundreds. Okay, so why do you think that your rating's horrible? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's just what I feel. So then we have to restructure that and how we deal with that and how we talk about that so that way my anxiety lessens. And by talking about it, even that process itself helps in that anxiety. All without medication. Now, this is one of my favorite slides. This is how I see my brain working. Remember, I think that I am a computer, but this is my process table, right? And at the top of that process table might be depression, stress, report writing, my sick kid, social media, am I hungry? What's my financial state? What are my parents' state? These are all things going through my mind at a constant rate. How do I control this process table in my head? How do I re-nice these processes or reprioritize these processes? The thing that I have found to be most helpful is meditation. Now, meditation probably sounds like hocus pocus, but I've actually found it to be incredibly useful. In combination with my cognitive behavioral therapy, it helps me manage my process table. When I sit and I go through a 5-minute meditation or a 10-minute meditation, or sometimes even a 1-minute meditation, it helps reorganize that process table and reprioritize that process table to what my needs are, not to what my brain's needs are, right? So I don't worry as much about the anxiety of the report writing or what's happening at work. I can focus on the things that I need to focus on at that given time. So we're going to go towards a little bit of depression into suicide. This is obviously a sensitive topic. This slide is supposed to show you some warning signs that you should look out for in the people around you, your community, your family. These things don't always suggest suicide, but they're important things to keep on your radar. So if someone starts talking about harming themselves, or starts talking more about suicide, look up. If they talk about how much they're burdened, or how hopeless things are, they're not going to be able to fix it, and they are annoying all these people, that's something to look up for. If you see their substance abuse getting worse, withdrawing, becoming isolated, if they start calling people and saying goodbye, if they start giving their possessions away, those are things that you need to look at as red flags. And talk with that person, and try to get them the help that they need. So there's a depression screening tool we talked about. This is a suicide screening tool. You can find this one online. This Columbia Suicide Severity Rating Scale is quick. It's 6 questions. And it can get you a range about how suicidal this patient really is, or this person that you know is your friend, your family. It's pretty sensitive, meaning that if you score a certain amount, the chance this person is really suicidal at that risk is pretty high. It's pretty reliable. So what do you do? These are 2 fantastic resources. Call, text. This goes in many different states, all of them, so they'll be able to get you region-specific recommendations, guidelines, and help. This is where I'm going to be telling people to go. Of course, the emergency department is still always open. If you are without help, if you feel hopelessness, if you feel like you're going to hurt yourself, you got nowhere else to go, you come see me in the emergency department. It might not be fun. You always have horrible food. They'll take care of you. You know, one thing that I want to talk about on a positive note is Project Semicolon. And, excuse me, I'm a little choked up when I talk about this. Project Semicolon is a support group for people who have gone through suicide or attempted suicide. And a semicolon is used when an author could have chosen to end a sentence but chose not to. Right? And that is a very big metaphor for a lot of people who have attempted suicide. They chose to continue. They chose not to end their story. And I think that if you go to that resource and read what's there, it's very inspiring, and it's very fulfilling, and it's very helpful. So I recommend that you check that out. So really short on time here, I'm going to talk to you about Jane's third visit. She came to me when I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young doctor. She came back to me when I was burned out, and she helped me realize how burned out I was. I fixed it, and I helped other people, including her. And she came back to me a third time. It wasn't because she was suicidal. She came back as a nursing student to my hospital while I was a resident, and just said, "Hey, doc." I remembered her then, and I was inspired about her journey into healthcare so she could help other people. She wanted to go and help people that were suicidal. This is something that's super important this week. This week is huge in our community. People call it Hacker Summer Camp for a reason. We see friends here, we make new friends here, and we reignite friendships that are old and new. These are the resources that everybody needs to survive in their day-to-day world. My friends are everything. I hang out with them, I talk with them on a daily basis. They are my support line. They make me feel not alone, they make me feel not depressed. Keep that in mind this week as you're at Black Hat, as you're at DEF CON, as you're at these events meeting people and seeing old friends and making new friends. These are exactly what people need, and exactly who you need to turn to when you have these types of problems for help and support. So I close up. This is our Twitter handles. Please follow us. We're going to have a Q&A across the hall. But also tomorrow, Black Hat's been so kind to us to offer us an opportunity to talk to anyone else who's interested. At between 9:30 and 10:30 tomorrow in Cole Seymour. For meditation apps, meditation books that I found to be very useful, but also other authors and other projects that I found inspiring, like Project Semicolon, so that way people can have more resources and more things that I have found to be very helpful personally that maybe you will too. So again, thank you so much for listening to our talk, and let's continue the conversation across the hall. Thank you. Michael Schwartz, Daniel Goose, and Moritz Lipp. Hi, and welcome to our talk, Meltdown, Basics, Details, Consequences, where we talk about one of the infamous CPU vulnerabilities of January. My name is Moritz Lipp. I'm a PhD student at Graz University of Technology. You can find me on Twitter, write me an email, or talk to me later on. My name is Michael Schwartz. I'm also a PhD student at the same university in Graz. I'm also on Twitter. I can write me an email, talk to me afterwards. I'll be for the rest of the conference at DEF CON. And my name is Daniel Goose. I'm a postdoc at Graz University of Technology, and you can also reach me online. We also have a lot of other people who contributed to this work. Anders Stock, Daniel Genkin, Dana Haas, Mike Hamburg, Jan Horn, Paul Kotscher, Stefan Manger, Thomas Prescher, and Uriah Wong, who are not here, but this was a great collaboration with them, and yeah, we're looking forward to working with them in the future. Yeah, so let's dive into it, and we start right off with reading kernel memory from user space, because that's pretty straightforward, right, Michael? Right, so we have our virtual address space in our application, we have our user space, addresses all mapped there, we have the kernel mapped in our application, so why not read something that lies in the code? Yeah, why not? So we just pick an address, like the Linux banner, get the address from that, and since every one of us knows C, we can do some simple pointer magic, use the address, cast it to a character pointer, dereference it, and then we can just print out the character located at this address. So this sounds really easy, so let me try this. I run your code, see what's happening, and it doesn't seem to be that straightforward. It's like faults when I know it. Yeah, that's not really surprising. You can't just access kernel addresses. It's working as intended. Kernel addresses are not accessible, and that's how it's supposed to be. Any limited access will throw an exception, and it will lead to a segmentation fault. Yeah, but there's not an issue, because whenever you have an exception, you just catch it, and then continue your code. So that's pretty easy. We just install a signal handler, so whenever this segmentation fault occurs, we jump back and continue our next instruction. Is that how you always deal with errors? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, right? And then we can just read the value. I don't think that's how it works too much, really. So I tried that and still I get no kernel memory there. Okay. So maybe this privilege check actually seems to work and we cannot just access stuff from the kernel. And it doesn't seem to be that straightforward as we thought it is. Okay, so maybe we should go back to the start. Maybe we should go back to operating systems 101, back to the basics. And